And that is what he pointed out. He's like, I cannot believe these prices are this expensive for something that's been crafted in China. And now Jackson has been used in China for a while. It's not the first time they've produced stuff in China. But the stuff that I'm going to point out is that the price of these guitars and the price of some of their other stuff, things just don't make sense. It just kind of makes you like go, huh? So Jackson makes stuff in Korea, Indonesia, and they do make stuff in China, and they do make stuff in the US. So they're working with everybody, right? So basically for these Pro Plus series, Jackson has a Jackson Pro series, which is their import brand. And you can, I know Misha Mansour's one is underneath there, and they have a couple other ones. Basically, the Pro line is like the cheaper or the import models of all their really expensive American stuff. Because, like, I think Misha's one now is like $4,000, which that thing used to be like right around 3. It's amazing how much things have shot up. Now that is out of their custom shop, so it's like their highest manufacturing tier, if you want to call it that. The dinky that is multi-scale, this one is, you're looking at $1,850 for this, which is fanned. You have, looks like you have some Fishman Moderns in there. This is a 7-string one. It's Ernst. And this one is going to be crafted in Korea. Now, $1,800, almost $1,900 for a Korean guitar. That's kind of pushing it, but it's okay. I say that's okay because a lot of what Schecter makes, that all comes out of South Korea. And it's all fantastic. You can see it on the rack back there. I might have kind of edited it out a little bit. But I have an SLS Elite. That one, 7-string, that one is made in Korea. And it's great. It punches way above its weight. I only paid like $1,500 for it. But it keeps up with like $3,000 and $4,000 guitars. Now, it's not going to be 100% the same, but it keeps up with them for the price, which is great. So I can kind of, this is kind of okay for me. But this is where things start to get a little weird. So all of the soloists, the SLA 3Q and the DK-AQ, these are all going to be made in China. I say made in China, but we just saw this, right? We clicked on this one. If you click on the different ones, it's crafted in China. I promise you guys, I have a point to this. And the blue one is also crafted in China. So let's go back. So let's click on the dual hum dinky. The only real difference between this one and the other ones we just looked at is just kind of the pickup configuration and a few little different colors. Now, if we look on this green one right here, this one has that it's crafted in Indonesia. Now, this is the same model. We click on the Firestorm one, which it literally looks like a Firestorm. But this finish looks really cool. I would definitely buy a Jackson like this. It looks really awesome. Let's see what this one is. China. Let's see where the transparent purple burst. China. And let's look at the like silver burst one. It's called Ghost Burst. This one's also crafted in China. So which makes it the question, why is this one, the green one, manufactured in Indonesia, but the other one's manufactured in China? Price all seems to be the same. Now, I did go through each one of these, and I clicked on each different colors, because this was the only one I found that was made in Indonesia. Right? Everything else, and this entire list, is either made in China or it's either made in Korea. I don't know if this was an error. I don't know if they're specifically making this one at the Indonesian factory. Now, the point of everything that I'm doing here is I'm trying to question where Jackson is going with this, because it kind of boggles my mind a little bit. Like I said, you have this one right here. It's fanned, and you push it on $1,900 for it. That's okay. All the other soloists right here, let's just click on here. I mean, so the SLA3, it just has 2 hums. It has 1 hum and 2 singles in it. The gold one, China. Black one, China. White one, China. I did that in a different order than I said it. But those are all in China. So once again, we have a Pro Series. This is a Pro Series Dinky MDK7P. It's a dual hum, and it has like bevels on the side of it, and you can see it kind of natural. Kind of looks like a Kiesel did back in the day. This one is $1,600. This one is crafted in China. It doesn't have any fans frets on it or any Evertune stuff, so it's going to be made in China, which is fine. And you're looking at about $1,600 for that one. So the exact same guitar we looked at, the Dinky MDK, this one has an Evertune bridge on it. This one is going to be made in Korea. So what it looks like, this one is $1,900 basically for an Evertune on there. And it has like a silver burst that's like sparkly. That one is going to be made in Korea. And then we have an MKD Dinky, but this one is also fanned, but it's a 6-string. And this one is going to be made in Korea. So as we can see, If it's a simple type of guitar that isn't fanned and it's straight, it looks like they're putting that to China. If it is fanned or has an evertune, it looks like that one is putting in Korea. I'm almost done, and I promise I'm going to make a point on this. So the red and, wow, that's actually $100 difference. The MKD7, if you want like the red with like the black in the bevel, that one's going to cost you $1,500, and they're both going to be manufactured in China. We go back on here. You have it's a different color dinky. The MKD, so it has an Evertune. It's an Evertune 7. You look at this one, it's going to be in Korea, and well, that one's actually 2,000. That's the very, very top of the line one. It's in 2,000, and then the two soloists right here. Soloist, that's going to be made in China, and then you have the Pro Plus Rhodes. That one is going to be crafted in China. Now, a lot of you are probably angry. You're like, what does it really matter where the country of the guitar is manufactured? Not really, but typically, from what I have seen, if something is manufactured in China, sometimes some things are going to slip through QC coming from China when it arrives in Europe or the United States or where it's going to be sold. And I've heard from people in the past that Jackson's Pro line, the Indonesian ones, it can be kind of hit or miss. I've heard more often than not it's been miss. People have gone into stores and picked up guitars, and the Pro line, they were absolutely unplayable. The strings were pitting out. They were unplayable. They were just very, very, very bad. And I've also heard from some friends of mine, I say friends, some acquaintances of mine, when they had their online store up and running, they ordered a bunch of stuff from Jackson, and they had to send a lot of it back because it was just not acceptable. They didn't feel comfortable carrying it into their store. Now, the whole thing that kind of the crux of all of this seems to be that Jackson doesn't do the best quality control. For example, Dingwall basses, they're awesome. They're made in China, but Dingwall QCs them very well, and you don't really hear too many things about Dingwalls being that bad. I mean, Dingwalls are kind of expensive for what you pay for them. They are made in China. Like I said, they do QC them. I don't exactly know what their rejection rate is, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, no one's really complained a whole lot about those. Dingwalls are made in China, and they import them into Canada, and they like QC them, right? So my whole point with this is, in the first half of this discussion, I'm kind of confused as to why Jackson is doing this. Jackson, as you know, is owned by Fender. They have an awesome Mexican factory. For example, my parts caster, which you can kind of see on my rack back there if I haven't like edited it out, cropped it out, I should say. I have a Mexican body, and I have a Wormuth neck on it. The Mexican body has been fantastic. It had no flaws that I saw, and the guitar plays and sounds great, right? It's from the Mexican factory. They used to make these dinkies in the Mexican factory. And the reason I'm saying this is because the Mexican factory is usually pretty good. They don't have as many QC issues as Indonesia or China, I guess you could say, right? Now, I'm talking about when it's being made there and shipped to the United States and you get them in stores. I guess it'd be a little bit easier if you're making them in China and Korea and you're shipping them to Europe, for example. But my whole thing of this is, why is there only one of the guitars that's made in Indonesia? Maybe that was just a one-off. Maybe that was just a demo. But the prices that they're charging for these Chinese guitars, right? And with their history of not really QCing stuff, that kind of brings in a lot of questions. I don't say red flags, but that kind of brings in some caution for me. I would love to play these, okay? I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying with the recent history of what Jackson's done and where these are made, some things may or may not go very well. I would love to play these. I think my man Kenyon Hushmanzada, not Hushmanzada, I'm saying his butchered his name. He has from Australia. He plays a lot of periphery stuff. He has these. He has one of these right here. He put his bare knuckle pickups in it. He loves it. He's an Evertune man. He loves it. He plays it. Right, I would love to play these, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying to be cautious about it. And I'm just curious, why aren't they making these in the Mexican plant? That's another question I have. And prices on these, they're kind of high, right? The highest made Chinese normal guitar that I have seen comes from Epiphone. Epiphone has been making Gibson, I should say. Gibson has been making all of their Epiphones in China. I actually owned one, a Red 335 that I used for jazz guitar when I was in college. And that was from like 07 to 2010, right? And that guitar was good. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but you know, it let me play jazz. I ended up trading it for a Ibanez, which ended up trading the Ibanez for a JP6, which was a piece of crap, but that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother story. But the guitar was good. And all of Epiphone's signature stuff, that is made in China. For example, the Kirk Hammett Greenie version, that one is made in China. That was the most expensive Chinese guitar I've seen from Epiphone. That one's like $1,500, but you get the Greenie pickups in it, and it's kind of a special thing, right? Because Kirk Hammett gets a little bit of that pie and stuff like that. So, which I was kind of okay with. Because I've owned one, and I've never really heard too many bad things about Epiphone's Chinese guitars, which, you know, I mean, they've been doing it for a while, so, you know, they've gotten all the kinks worked out. But look at some of these prices, right? This is Chinese. This is $1,600. I mean, this is Korean. That's about $1,850. So this Soloist SLA 3Q and these finishes right here, they're $1,600. That's kind of a little pricey. And this one's $1,500 right here. So this is not a signature model. This is like something brand new. So the prices of these are a little bit high. Okay, I'm gonna prove my point. I know I've been talking a little while. I'm gonna prove my point, right? The series Soloist right here, the SLA 3Q, right? So if we come over to Sweetwater, right? Let's look at some of other Jackson stuff, right? I would like to point this out to you right here. The Jackson American Series Virtuoso Pacific Ocean, the ones that we have been looking at, right? Yes, this is pretty much this kind of the same thing, right? A Pro Series Plus Dinky DQA. This one is $1,300, right? Now it's hum if you're doing exact, it's just a simple color. These colors, I know they have a little bit more they have a like veneer on them, right? This one's $2,000. You can get two demos for $1,800. Now these are simple guitars. If you look at the back here, so it's crafted in California. They're simple. You have the truss rod adjustment at the back. I like this. I would buy this. This is made in America, right? It's going to typically have less QC issues. At least you hope it would, since it's made in America, right? And it looks like they have the original Floyd Rose on it. I believe that's what that is. Let's look down. I said it. I have to go verify it, otherwise I'm going to be crucified for giving raw. It's a Floyd Rose 1500, which I think that is the one made in Korea, but it's the same specs as the German one, I believe. You have Goto locking tuners on it. So this thing is slamming, right? This is an awesome guitar. Locking tuners, Goto is awesome. You could probably even throw a Goto bridge in here if you don't really want the 1500. So the Soloist SL3, which is going to compete directly with the 3Q right here. This one's $1,600. This one is a little bit more, right? You're looking at $2350. This is a little bit more. But look, you have demos for $21. So you're only spending a little bit more money, and you're getting an American-made guitar. Like I said, a little less QC issues, right? That's just, it's because Fender's American stuff is usually pretty good. I've never heard anything bad about them. Of course, some stuff can happen, but I've never heard anything bad about it. So the Mystic Blue right here, this one is $2K. You kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of perplexed why their Pro Plus SKUs are so expensive. Yes, I know these are simple colors, right? But you gotta look at it. You're looking at just like a little like veneer. So visually, it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But I mean, you want a guitar to play better than to be aesthetically pleasing. Another thing I really wanted to point out is that you have the Pro DK7 that we looked at. That's fanned. That one's here on Sweetwater. And look, you also have the a white. It's essentially what is this? It's the American one. I forgot what is this called. It's essentially it's an SLA3, right? Yeah, or the DKAQ is essentially what this is. Like I said, it's only it's $1,950. It's not that much more, right? Because if you're in the market for a guitar like this, you already made the decision to spend upwards of $1,500. So if you're spending upwards of $1,500, if you're spending $300 more, that's not terrible. It's not a terrible amount for something that's probably going to be a little bit higher quality. Another thing I kind of want to point out, you do have the Brandon Ellis signature Crackle one right here. This one is $1,350. This one is made in China, but you get Brandon's signature pickup in it from his Samora Duncan with his slugs on it. You get, I think that's probably a Floyd 1500 again. You get a cool crackle, and you get some reverse shark teeth. This is a cool guitar, and it's only $13.50, as opposed to the ones that we're looking on here. Like the DQA, this one is $1300. The MK, these letters are killing me. I cannot pronounce crap today. The MDQ7PHT, this one's $1600. It's more expensive than Brandon's signature guitar. Now, you see where I'm going with this? Because normally with signature guitars, you have to kind of prop the price up a little bit because the artist gets some of it since it's a signature guitar, and you have to kind of pay that out. So you see where I'm going with this? I'm perplexed by these prices. These prices are kind of all over the place. Because for an American-made guitar under $2,000, like this one right here, that is an extremely good deal in these times where everything in the world, guitar-wise, is so expensive. For example, some Music Man Majesties now with like special like tops on them, like splanted maple tops on them, and they're going for like $6,000, which is absolutely outrageous. Because I remember a couple years ago, those were $4,000, so they've jumped $2,000. So everything is just skyrocketing at an insane pace. But I'm just kind of showing you these SKUs. They're all over the place. I mean, I know like the Pro Plus series is new, but it's not giving you these super outrageous specs or anything super cool and new for the prices they're giving it to you. And I want to show you one more thing. That is the Made in Japan series, which is more expensive than the USA stuff. You see where I'm going with this? I love Japanese made guitars. They're so great. Why would I spend $2,400 on a Soloist SL2? It's just in black and it has shark teeth on it for the inlays, so it's not that much different than the USA one we looked at, right? No, I mean, look, double hum. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a little bit of specs a little bit different from it, but it's pretty much in that same type of category, right? Whoops, I went back too far. So I'm just pointing these things out. I don't understand why certain things are way more expensive and other things aren't. I mean, this one. I mean, look, this one right here. This one's appropriately priced. You're looking at about $1,900 for a Made in Japan one. I mean, Made in Japan guitars slap. They're so good. Ibanez has been doing it forever. Jackson used to have a specifically. They used to make a bunch of them in Japan, and then they ended up stopping. I don't know if this was before Fender or after Fender. I don't 100% know. And look, you get a Goto trim on this. Goto trim slam. I put one on my KH202 LTD, and they're absolutely fantastic. I love them. This slams. Like, this is so good. Like look at this. You get Goto. I don't even know if they give you locking tuners on it. I doubt they do. Well, you can do locking tuners without a locking nut. You can. I've done it before and it works fine. You just have to have something in there locking. This is great. Like, and you see the difference? I mean, the only difference between the American one and the Japanese one is, from what I'm seeing, is that the bridge is a little bit different. And I'm sure the pickups are a little bit different. What pickups come in here? Let's scroll on down to look at the pickups. Where's... Oh, it's the Marzia. You have the Marzias in it. That is really good. For that price, it was $2,100. Dropped $300. For $1,800, you get a Goto bridge, you get the Marzios, and that's fantastic. That's awesome. And this day and age, for a brand new guitar, this hits a lot of the things that I would want to buy. Now, this is a little bit more expensive right here. The transparent blue burst, I think it's because it has a burl top. I am not a fan of burl at all. If you ever watch anything I've done, I do not like burl at all. That one's $2,000. That's still a good price. Now, your Rhodes Flying V's, they're a little expensive. They're coming in at $2,500. The white one, that one's coming in at about $3,000. And we've also gone over this one. So, guys, I'm getting to the end of my rant on this. And my whole point on this is be cautious, but verify, okay? So if you're going to buy any of these Pro Plus ones, when you get them in, look them over, make sure they play well, go to your local store, go to your Guitar Center, go anywhere these are carried, play them, and see how they are. Now, my whole point with this was I just wanted to bring this to your attention. This is not me taking a crap on Jackson at all, really, because like I said, I like Jackson. And you even hear, I like a lot of the specs. It's just I'm very confused as to where they're going with these SKUs and these prices. Because the American and Japanese stuff, which for all intents and purposes has a better reputation than a lot of the import stuff. Now, Korean stuff is actually really, really good. They've elevated themselves and they're pretty much in that upper tier now. And it's the Chinese and the Indonesian stuff that is kind of like below. And the Mexican kind of sits like in the middle there. Tell me in the comments down below, what experiences have you had with this? Good, bad, ugly? Tell me down below. Because I really would like to know. And I would like for you to help inform everybody else of what exactly is going on. And that's where I'm going to wrap it up. Just a lot of confusion of all this stuff. Look, so I know this soloist right here. I know it's hum single, but it's made in China and it's $1,700, and it's just natural. And look at the USA stuff we just looked at. So for $200 more, you get a solid color guitar. Now it's hum, and get that single in there. But you see kind of like the thing that went off in my brain. You see what I'm pointing out here. These prices are a little bit high on this Plus series. I know they're a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. The finishes are a little bit different. You have an all gold one, an all blue one. But you see where I'm going with this here? The where stuff's being made and the SKU price is just kind of confusing to me. Alright guys, I promise you I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for spending some time with me. Sorry if I was a little incoherent. I actually have a headache. It's gotten worse since I started here. Thank you for watching this podcast. I know there's a lot of stuff buying for your time out there. You chose to spend some with me. Look, guys, I greatly appreciate it. If you would leave me a like, I would appreciate it. If you would sub, I'd also appreciate that. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.